I've been using my channel as a type of trip journal, just to log my experiences. I used to write about my experiences on the shroomery, and I figured that this would be a bit of an easier experience for me to just relay it as it happened and not have to like write it out and have to spend all that time. With this experience, I first took one micro pellet of 1p-lsd, and the dose is 150 micrograms. And this time it felt a little bit less intense than the first time that I took it, and it might just be because of like tolerance or something. But then again, like I haven't tripped in like a few weeks, so there should be no tolerance. So it's possible that this time maybe my stomach contents caused a different experience, I guess. But like I still had the same type of wobbliness to the experience, so it wasn't completely like ineffective as the last time, but it was still pretty powerful. Like I had visuals and stuff like that. So then I packed a bowl of DMT, and the problem that I have right now is that I don't have a scale for it right now because my scale broke, the one that can actually measure milligram doses. So like I was trying to take, like when I take LSD, it amplifies the experience. So when I smoke DMT, like I want to smoke a lower dose so that it doesn't cause me to go too far, because I don't like to go too deep because it gets too mind fucky, I should say. And sometimes I don't really want to see those kinds of things at the moment. And this time I didn't know what dose I took, but it was probably something stupid like 60 milligrams. And yeah, so I smoked it and blew it out the window, and then just lied down on my bed like I always do and put the covers on, and immediately it just became like the typical ego death experience, but this time it felt like a more climactic thing. Like it felt like I was moving towards some sort of focal point that was like the end of something, or maybe it was metaphorical, I'm not really sure. When I was going through it, something different happened, because I should tell you that what happens to me when I go to this focal point, it's happened before, and it's a very similar experience for some reason. Like it brings me back to the same spot, and it's kind of, this spot kind of mind fucks me, so it's like it's hard to explain what is so weird about this. And I was going to that same place, and I felt like I was kind of sinking down to it. At first I was thinking that it was death, but then my mind sort of shifted, and then I sort of was believing that this experience was me just getting ready to perform for like an audience on like playing piano, and for some reason the fear that I was experiencing, the death, was literally just performance anxiety or stage fright. And I had two options. I could succumb to the stage fright and freak out and want off the ride, or I can just be brave and let it happen and actually go through with the performance, I guess. And it was weird that it metaphorically was saying that death was performance anxiety, and that was something that was really resonating with me, because in the past, when I was 8 to 10, I was taking lessons, so I was able to perform at recitals, and they had like a big hall that they rented out for these recitals, and there was a bunch of different schools that would come to the recital, and they would all play all the kids would play their stuff. And I think it was like like teenagers, up to teenagers, I think, were performing. So it was a large group of students. So like the crowds that we played for were probably like maybe 100 to 200 people. So it was an experience of getting that kind of exposure to play in front of people. But it's not the same, because like the stuff I'm doing right now is higher level, so it's more like you're walking on a tightrope. And the other stuff that I was doing, it wasn't going to make or break your career. We were just kids that were trying to learn, and it wasn't the end of the world if you made a mistake. But when it's your actual career and like your reputation is on the line, I think it's a lot different, and it causes a lot more anxiety. And that anxiety, to me, I feel like, because I don't have experience with that, like I'm slowly trying to ease myself into performing for people. Because like recently I went to Long and McQuaid, and there was a few people there, and I played Campanella, and it went pretty well, and I didn't freak out because there was people watching me, and succumb to the fright of performing in front of people. But the idea of doing it in front of a large crowd, it's very scary to me, and I think that metaphorically felt like death for some reason. I've heard people describe what it's like to perform for the first time, like these kinds of things, and they describe it very vividly as like a very rite of passage almost experience. And like it just seems like something that's like almost you're passing through to like a new territory of experience, and it's almost like a death experience in some sense, like the fear of that, I think, and to me at least. And I think that my DMT trip was sort of relating those two, so I thought that was a really interesting experience. And it made me learn a lot more about what that death experience kind of means to me. So I thought that was pretty interesting, and thought I might share that for you guys. So I hope you guys thought that was interesting, and yeah.